Hey guys, Nick60 here, coming to you with a first look, not blind unfortunately, at Fractured Space, a new arena-style capital class battle. I've heard the nickname World of Starships thrown around a little bit. It's a little bit like that with some different mechanics and capabilities. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that my recording software had decided to be stupid and not record any sound at all. So, unfortunately, this is not completely blind, but I will do my best to sort of highlight some of the stuff that I noticed, some of the stuff that that was going through my mind when I was playing this. And something I'd like to throw out real quick right away before we get started into that is, this is an early access, alpha, beta type testing environment. Not everything's been fleshed out, not everything's been finished. The game is still very much a work in progress. That doesn't make it unplayable, and it doesn't make it not fun, but it does mean that it's still got a lot to be filled out before it's finished, so you have to bear that in mind when looking at it. Once we get in game, you'll see the graphics aren't in 100% shape and stuff, but you know, that doesn't take away from the fact that it's still fun right now. It just means that it still has ways to go to be the full game. And in celebration of its November 20th early access release, I have actually decided that this weekend, I will be, well, between now and this weekend, so over the next, between now 20th and the 23rd, 24th-ish, I will be holding a Steam key giveaway for the early access of this game. So come on in and keep an eye out for when that happens, because, you know, if you want to get in and have a look at this early access, you know, there's a chance to get some free keys. So, yeah, Fractured Space, early access. You can see I've been clicking around through some of the menus leading up to it. There's a number of ships available right now. It looks like for the moment you can't progress on past them. And you can pick between the two different crews that they have, the mercenaries and the renegades, who will respond and provide feedback based on what's going on. So this is me sort of figuring that out and looking at ship equipment and what's available and so on and so forth. And then we'll get in a moment. And the first thing you'll notice when we get in is the graphics aren't 100%. They're not bad, but they're not like super fine detailed. Admittedly, they're still better than some finished games that I've seen, but they're not there yet. But that's okay. Like I said, early access, learn to live with it. So, still just kind of messing around with the menus there for a moment, and I chose the Hunter. And what the Hunter is it's a bit of a close-range brawler. It's big, bulky, slow, has a set of heavy cannons that it will be lobbing at the target, and you know, it doesn't go anywhere in a hurry. You will see me experimenting with the blink drive, which allows it to, well, there's sort of micro jumps. It sort of teleports forward in space to a new position that you highlight, which I think that's pretty cool, because that's a great close the distance. I kept forgetting to use it, unfortunately, but it's a great close the distance, or GTFO ability that you can use when bad stuff starts to happen. So that's very nice. It also features missiles, these heavy guns that you already saw me fire, a detection capability, which I don't quite understand. I assume it's for like finding cloaked vessels and stuff. And leech drones. I would launch them periodically. I never did quite figure out it. There was me blinking. I never did quite figure out what I'm actually supposed to do with them, so sorry. It also features a jump drive, which you use to get from sector to sector. If you look down in the right-hand corner, there are several sectors in the map, and what you have to do is jump from sector to sector and capture various bases. There we go, jumping. In order to gather resources. Once you have set amount of resources, your ship can be upgraded. And that, provides more health, more DPS, more overall weapons capabilities to your ship. In my case, it did not make me faster, which did start to get a little annoying, but oh well. But the health and damage boosts were very much appreciated. So this is me moving forward to start capturing some of the mining stations. Now, I noticed that you only really get one upgrade, at least I did, during this match, which was a bit of a problem because of how you win the game. You don't win the game by just killing everything. That would be nice, but unfortunately you don't. And the reason this is an issue is because, well, how you win is you have to capture the enemy base. You don't have to capture all the other bases, though that's what ended up happening in this match, but you have to capture the enemy base. And besides taking a really long time to capture, it also has an auto damage field. So the upgrade did help, but it just didn't help enough, being a single upgrade from, I believe it was 10,000 to 13,500 was the upgraded health pool. It just wasn't enough of an extra boost to help in, well, like I said, an auto damage field. I had to keep, well, not just me, but my teammates and I had to keep running away to repair. And I'm sure that the game makers probably did that to avoid the issue of the whole the whole enemy force is forward and someone just sneaks around behind and caps, and no one moves around in time in order to stop him. I think probably personally my recommendation would be to change from an auto damage field to stationary defensive turrets that that try to open fire on people that wander in, and preferably that you can shoot back at. That trade fire with them. And how because like I said, the current mechanics are a little iffy on that, because this ended up being a match that took well over half an hour. I will not go for that full length of time in this video to show you that, but this took almost 40 minutes of brawling between the actual build up to the invasion of the enemy base, and we did end up winning. You can see I'm doing some brawling here using that slow rate of fire, and I'll start lobbing missiles at this guy. There we go. I do love the animations for that. I don't know, I just love the missile spam. And we're slowly wandering around, and it is a fairly ponderous system, but you're using capital ships, so that's actually a good thing, because you're not supposed to be, just zipping around everywhere, beating the snot out of everything. And you'll also notice that as you take damage, there is realistic damage. Well, not realistic, but progressive damage. If you get damage in the port side starts burning and stuff. I suppose it's going to evolve to realistic. It's getting close, but it's not quite there yet. And so then, and it took me a while to figure this stuff out, that, oh, my port side's damaged, I should really turn the ship. I had some issues with that earlier. Working on it, though. So you see me trying to spam this guy to death, which was more or less the best I could do, because I didn't know anything about alternative ideas, and I still honestly don't. I really should have been trying to test my leech drones at this point. But yeah, the first bit of the battle was pretty exciting because there was a lot of this kind of action going back and forth, beating the crap out of each other, capturing the different sectors, jumping back and forth, and just trying to just trying to get the better edge over someone. But we eventually did manage to win out and capture all the sectors but the enemy base. And that's where things started to really drag along and where I think they need work, because the enemy team knew they were beat. We could afford to get our upgrades, and every time you die and respawn, you lose your upgrade. And so they didn't have the resources to keep the upgrade going, and so they would periodically manage to push their way back out and start capturing a couple of the bases. But we were just we just controlled too many resources. But we couldn't storm the enemy base because of that auto damage field. And yes, I'm going to keep coming back to this, I'm sorry. This was by far the single most frustrating part of the game, was that auto damage field, because we'd move in and, for a little bit the enemy team would engage us, but that auto damage field meant that we were burnt down almost instantly. And then between their firing and the auto damage field, but they just didn't have enough time to actually retake enough bases. So one of them or two of them might be able to sneak away with another upgrade, but we had the resources to instantly upgrade at our home base, fly forward, and move in for the kill, and push them back. And that, it didn't take too long for them to, several of them just quit. I mean, one guy was nice enough to stay in so that the match just didn't end, and so that we could try to get our victory, though he stopped actually shooting back. He just let us more or less farm kills off of him to give us something to do while jumping back and forth from their base and the friendly repair bases. And that's more or less when the fun petered out. The actual fighting and battle and, jumping back and forth to engage enemy ships and, more or less squabbling over who got what resources, that was fun. And that's probably the spirit of the game and what was meant. But once it hit that point of we know we're going to win, but it's just really grinding to get there, that was where the game really suffered. So I'm guessing that during this initial phase when people are just getting in and things, there's going to be a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of DC'd games where the enemy team knows they're beat and just disconnects, because, let's be honest, it's no fun to just back in base, blown up, back in base, blown up, back in base, blown up. So that's where the game is going to need some work. But right now, in my opinion, is the game could be a lot more broken than that in early access. And I'm not going to say it's the devs' negligence. They're probably trying to do it so like I said, so it's not just someone sneaks back and wins the game instantly. But I think that there are probably different mechanics that could be put to use a little bit better than what are there now when it comes to the final end game of capturing the enemy base. But who knows? I could have missed some things. I could be wrong. I'm certainly going to be playing more matches. In all, though, I'd say the game was probably 75, 85, 90-ish% fun when we were brawling and having it out, even when, the enemy team was outnumbered or we were outnumbered. But that last little bit of just trying to get that base captured was the big stonewall. I mean, even the dying and having the respawn, it's not a real painful respawn timer, which is a good thing. And yeah, you lose your upgrade, but that makes sense. And if you have the resources, you can just fly into your friendly base and they'll pass you the upgrade on your way out. So that's good, that's nice. But like I said, the two big corrections I'd make, first thing, well, not corrections. Corrections isn't the right word. The two big suggestions that I would make right off the bat is perhaps change how the base fights back from capture, as well as perhaps make more than one upgrade set for once you have the resources. Because we ended up just farming resources. You know, we had the equivalent of multiple space stations completely full of resources and weren't using any of it. But otherwise, the actual battle mechanics, the ship-to-ship mechanics feel slow. They feel like you're in command of a capital ship. They feel like you're really slugging it out with the enemy players. It's a shame that this game wasn't more full, but yeah, I personally liked it. I'm not gonna let the final end game ruin the rest of the game for me. So yeah, that is my first look opinions of Fractured Space, and there will be more videos to come as I learn more about the game and try more ships. But yeah, Fractured Space just came out today, the 20th, and again, don't forget to look out for my next couple videos where I will be giving away a free Fractured Space game key. So keep an eye out for that if you want to have a look for yourself. And there's also a unknown game key, well, I know what it is, being given away in another video. I will link that in the description. So there's now 2 free game keys up for grabs. So have a look at that, and if you like this video and want to see more, feel free to check out my channel, subscribe, check out my Twitter, Nick60vids. I try to use it to keep things up to date as best I can. And if you really like this video and are feeling generous, I have a Patreon, wink wink, nudge nudge, Nikolai60. There'll be links to everything in the description. And yeah, Fractured Space first look, I'd say they're doing pretty good. It's definitely early access, but it's not broken. So yeah, Fractured Space, fun game. Nick60, yeah, I'm having trouble. Nick60 signing off. I will see you guys later.